Hi, glad I get to talk with everybody again. I do miss having you guys in class. For me, doing everything online is just not quite the same, but I think we're managing okay. Hope everybody's doing all right. Summer vacation's just 2 weeks away. Hopefully, we get this pandemic settled a little bit and we can have a great summer. In the meantime, we have 2 more weeks of art, and I'll go over what we're going to do during that time. First, before we do that, I want to thank Mr. Davis for helping me out here, along with Will and Kevin and Beth too. So we'll go ahead and get started. The first thing we're going to do is I'm going to go over a new word with you. Now, you know what sweet means. If something is sweet, like Skittles, they're really good. Okay, so Skittles are sweet, but there's another way to spell sweet, and it means something a little bit different. If you spell sweet like this, it means a group or a matching set. For example, a suite of rooms would be like maybe in a doctor's office or something like that, or a suite of furniture. They're sort of a matching set. The term also applies to art. We're going to do a suite of art. And as soon as I'm finished eating my Skittle, I'll get started here. To do a suite, what we're going to do, first of all, in some upperclassmen may have done this in the past, but I thought it was a good way to finish out the year. So the first thing you're going to have to do is draw a simple little jar. Once you get one that's shaped nice and balanced on each side and looks good, it's just simple little lines. Okay. Once you get that done, then you can trace the other ones that you would need. Okay. The jars don't have to be special. They don't have to be like these antique jars that I have. They're probably worth about $500,000, I think. But they don't have to be special jars of any type. Just a simple jar. Now, we want to make it 10 inches tall. Okay, 10 inches tall. I think you want to make it pretty wide. You want to make it wide. I'm not going to give you directions or dimensions for that, but make it wide. If it's too narrow and skinny, you won't be able to include much inside of it, and you won't have a very good drawing. So the requirement is it has to be a simple drawing, 10 inches tall, of a jar. We're going to do more with it, but that's what we're going to start with. You'll need 4, okay? And once you get one done, then you can just trace them, okay? So a simple jar. The title of this project is going to be Captured in a Jar. So maybe when you were a little kid, you went out and in the summertime and hunted for lightning bugs and put them in a jar. Maybe you caught a butterfly and put it in a jar. So we're going to capture things and we're going to put them in a jar. We're going to draw them though, not actually capture them, and put them in a jar. So 10 inches tall, once more, 10 inches tall, then you're going to need 4 of them. So this is where the suite comes in. We're going to do a group of 4 drawings that are all together. They're all matching or similar, have something in common. Okay, so the 4 drawings you're going to do, I have another thing. In case your dog is barking and you can't hear me, I'll hold these signs up and you can kind of see. So the jar is 10 inches tall. In one of the jars, you're going to draw a frog. In the second jar, you'll draw a spider. In the third jar, you'll draw a lizard. And in the fourth jar, you'll draw an insect. There's a difference between spiders and insects. Spiders would usually have 8 legs. Insects usually would have 6 legs, 2 parts to their body, and wings most often with an insect. Okay, so you're going to draw a frog in your jar. You're going to draw a spider in another jar, or 2 spiders. You're going to draw a lizard or 2, an insect or 2 in the fourth jar. So we're going to have a suite of drawings, 4 drawings of similar things. Okay. Now, As far as the media that you would use for this, I would say most of you would probably want to use color pencil. I'm going to give you a choice though. I would recommend color pencil probably for most people. If some or two or three or four people have access to some heavier paper and you want to use ink, fine point marker, and watercolor, that would be good. Okay. Use fine point marker and then add some watercolor. Or you could even use fine point marker and color pencil. Now, a lot of times lately when people have been turning in color pencil drawings, they're pretty light. Remember when we did our superheroes, our comic book drawings, we pressed hard, we practiced pressing hard. That's the way you should do on these pictures. We want to press hard. Okay, so I don't have an exact example of this project to show you, but I have some similar things that we've done. A long time ago, we would do in the first month of school, we'd practice blending and shading color pencil. We did frog drawings before. Okay, maybe you haven't, but in some years we did. Okay, so it's a way to practice blending and shading color pencil. This is a nice drawing. This is what I would expect inside your jar. Okay, here's another one. Again, both of these were done by freshmen in Art 1. Okay, so these are just color pencil drawings of frogs. This is something like what you would put in the jar. So when you put your frog in the jar, you're not just going to have him sitting there all by itself with nothing else. You're going to have some leaves or sticks or other plants in the jar with him. Okay? So again, the media we can use is you can use all color pencil. You can use your fine point marker and watercolor. If you have heavier paper, I don't think notebook paper would work so good. It would warp and wrinkle too much. Or you could use your fine point marker and color pencil. Okay? So those are your choices. Color pencil, fine point marker and color pencil, or fine point marker and watercolor if you have heavier paper. Okay? Now some are 2 or 3 or 4 people. If you have some other media that you'd like to try that you have on your own at home, send me an email. Tell me what you want to do, and I'll say yes or no, you can do that. Okay? I didn't mention with the jar. Okay, I would make that with your Sharpie. Okay, just do that with your Sharpie, just one solid line for the jar. Okay, so I showed you some color pencil drawings of the frogs. Now, this isn't something that one of our students did, but I saw this picture the other day. It's pretty colorful. It's pretty nice looking. This is, if we picked one little section of it, like for example, this piece right here, that's exactly what we'd want to do. Okay. Inside the jar, you could put a butterfly and you could have some flowers and plants in there with them. You need to have something else in the jar with them. Okay. Remember, this is a week's worth of work. So we want to make sure it looks detailed, it looks real. You want to press hard. It needs to look like a photograph. It shouldn't look like a little sketch when you're done. Color solidly, color neatly, and that would get the best results. Okay. You don't want to just put, the creature in there by itself without some things added. All right, so one more time, we're doing 4 10-inch jars, 10 inches tall. You decide how wide you want to make them, but make them wide enough that you can draw something. One of the jars, you need to have a frog, one of them a spider or 2, one of them a lizard, one of them an insect. Okay, the jars can be traced once you get the first one looking really good. You can do these on any page in your notebook, however you'd like to do them. Now, I had different ideas of some things we were going to do. We were going to do another portrait and stuff like that, but I changed that. This is kind of what we're going to finish up with. All right, so we have 2 weeks left. Next Thursday, 1 week from today, you need to send me pictures of 2 of the jars. I'm going to grade those 2. Then the following week on the 14th, you'll send me the other 2. I'm going to grade those 2. So you're going to get 2 grades on this. I wanted to do it that way because it will be a lot easier for you, I think, just to do half of them at once and then half of them later. Also, remember, if I'm going to grade 2 parts of this project, it's 2 parts. So if you do 1 jar with a lizard in and it turns out awesome, and you would get 100 on that, but you don't do anything for the other one and you get a 0, you average the 2 together, that's 50. Okay, so you got to do all of them really good. So the first 2 jars will be due 1 week from today on May 7th. In case you can't hear me so well, Thursday, May 7th, 1 week from today, week 5, 2 of the jars will be due. Okay. 1 week later, May 14th, that's when the other 2 will be due. And that isn't quite the last day, that's a Thursday, so Friday is our last day. Just in case somebody doesn't quite get finished and ends up being late, you would have Friday to get it into me. Okay, so these are the second 2 jars, May 7th, the first 2 jars. Okay, now, some people may still have the original paper that I gave you back in March, and it says week 5, 10 by 10 color pencil drawing in notebook on any page. And the theme here would be a circus theme to this, circus or fair. If you already started that, so you're going to have a choice here. If you want to do that, okay, rather than 2 of the jars, you can. Okay, so this circus or fair theme, if you've already started and you want to do that, or even if you haven't started and you want to do that, you can do that in place of 2 of the captured in the jars. Okay, so that circus drawing or fair drawing would be due next Thursday, May 7th. If you want to do that, you may. Okay, if you already started or you just think you would like that better, that's fine. So that will be due May 7th, 1 week from today. The following week, May 14th, then you would only have to do 2 of the captured in a jar subjects. You can pick any 2. You could pick the frog and the lizard, or you could pick the spider and the insect, however you want to do it. And it doesn't matter if you're going to do all 4 of them. It doesn't matter which 2 you do first, even though I had numbers by some of them. So that really doesn't make a difference. But it's really important that you add other things into the jar with your insect. You want to make it look very mature, like a high school person did it. Make it look real. It would be better to go overboard and do too much than just a little bit and sort of settle for that. Okay. And again, it can be color pencil, press hard. It can be color pencil and fine point marker. It can be fine point marker and watercolor if you have thicker paper. The jar itself should be done with a Sharpie. I think that covers everything. If you have any questions about any of this, you can always email me, okay, with your questions. Now, one other thing too, for the seniors, the 6 of you who I'm really going to miss, you guys have done a great job for the last several years. I just found out about an hour ago that your last day is going to be May 12th. So your lineup for what you do is going to be a little different. So May 12th, that's 2 days earlier than the other students' work is due. So on next week, you would only have to do 1 of the captured in jars. So since you're up 2 days earlier, you can do 1 less. Okay. So for seniors, next week, you'd do either the circus, or 2 of the captured in the jar drawings. And then the following week, your last week, you do 1 captured in a jar, captured in a jar drawings. Okay? And again, like if you have any questions, just email me. A lot of times I start class with a prayer or something like a prayer poem or something. I found this. I'll end with this. It's kind of little. I hope I can read it okay, but I'll try to read this to end things. I think it's kind of neat. It's titled "Take Time," and it says, "Take time to think. It is the source of power. Take time to play. It is the secret of perpetual youth. Take time to read. It is the fountain of wisdom. Take time to pray. It is the greatest power on earth. Take time to love and be loved. It is a God-given privilege. Take time to be friendly. It is the road to happiness. Take time to laugh. It is the music of the soul. Take time to give. It is too short a day to be selfish. Take time to work. It is the price of success. Take time to do charity. It is the key to heaven." So again, I enjoyed talking to you again today. Hopefully these last couple weeks go really smoothly. And if something doesn't make sense or you need more of an explanation, feel free to contact me. Okay, thank you.
You finished?